Think back to the last time you booked a flight. Maybe it was to see your grandchildren for the holidays, or maybe it was that long promised trip to Europe you kept postponing. You did everything right. You planned early. You opened your laptop on a Tuesday, checked the price, and saw $400. You thought it was reasonable. You told yourself you'd confirm your calendar, talk it over with your husband, and come back later. When you checked again on Thursday, the price was $450, a little higher but still manageable. By Friday morning, it had jumped to $510, and your stomach tightened. You worried that seats were disappearing, that waiting any longer would only make it worse, so you pulled out your credit card and bought it, hoping you hadn't waited too long. Now listen to me carefully, because this part matters more than anything else I'm going to say today. That price did not go up for everyone. It went up for you. Airlines use advanced artificial intelligence systems that quietly watch how you behave online. They track how often you check a flight, how long you hesitate, and how urgently you return. They analyze your device, your browsing patterns, even how quickly you type. From that information, they can often tell that you're a senior traveler with fixed dates and little flexibility. Inside the industry, this is sometimes called the silver ceiling. The system knows that a younger traveler might switch airlines over a $10 increase, but it also knows that you want that specific nonstop flight to see your family. It knows you value certainty, and it charges you for that peace of mind. That extra $100 or $200 isn't random, it's a worry tax. I've watched passengers sit side by side eating the same pretzels on the same flight, while one paid $300 and the other paid $650, simply because one person didn't know how to hide their digital trail. That makes me angry because careful planning should never be punished. Today we're going to break that system. I'm going to show you how to outsmart the algorithm using methods airlines hope you never learn. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Mila. I've worked as a flight attendant for 15 years, on red eyes, long hauls, and quick hops. More importantly, I've listened quietly behind the scenes. I've heard gate agents talk. I've seen fare classes on passenger lists. I know how confusing pricing is by design, and I'm here to help you protect your hard-earned money. And that starts with destroying the biggest myth in travel, that senior discounts no longer exist. You've probably heard this before. You might have even called an airline yourself, asked politely, and been told, "We don't offer senior discounts anymore." I want you to understand something important. That answer is misleading, and in many cases, it's simply wrong. The discounts still exist, but they are no longer advertised. They are buried behind extra clicks, hidden menus, and booking paths most people never use. Airlines realized that openly advertising senior fares reduced their profits, so instead of removing them, they made them invisible to anyone who doesn't know exactly where to look. Let me be very clear here. If you go to an airline's homepage and book the way most people do, you will never see these fares. The system assumes you are willing to pay full price unless you explicitly tell it otherwise. One of the clearest examples is United Airlines. United is one of the few major carriers that still maintains a dedicated fare category for seniors, but it is completely hidden from casual searches. You won't find it unless you deliberately bypass the default booking flow. Here is how it works. When you go to united.com, do not just type in your destination and dates. Instead, look carefully for the option labeled Advanced Search. When you click that, a new screen opens with more detailed controls. Scroll down until you reach the Traveler section, where it usually says One Adult. That drop-down menu holds the key. If you open it slowly and look closely, you'll see an option that says Seniors 65 Plus. Selecting this does not simply apply a small percentage discount. What it actually does is far more powerful. It forces the pricing system to resort its inventory and unlock specific seat buckets that are reserved for senior travelers. I've seen this work countless times. One passenger I remember clearly, I'll call him Mr. Henderson, was flying from Chicago to Denver. When he searched normally, the fare came back at $450. He assumed that was the best available price. I showed him how to use the advanced search and select the senior category. The exact same flight, same plane, same seat availability suddenly dropped to $398. That single click saved him $52. That covered his checked bag and a glass of wine on board, simply because he told the system who he really was. International flights offer similar hidden opportunities, and one of my favorite examples involves AARP. Many people think AARP is only useful for restaurant discounts or insurance offers, but airlines quietly partner with them in ways that are rarely advertised. British Airways is a perfect case. They offer exclusive discounts to AARP members, including $65 off economy and premium economy tickets and $200 off business class. You will never see this discount if you book directly on the airline's website. To access it, you must log into your AARP account first, search for British Airways within their travel section, and click through their specific affiliate link. Only then does the discounted pricing appear. I once met a woman named Mrs. Higgins on a flight to London. She was sitting in premium economy and told me she almost didn't book the ticket because it was priced at $1,400. Then she remembered this exact method. She booked through the AARP portal, and the price dropped instantly to $13.35. Her membership cost $12. She saved $65 in under 5 minutes, and if she had booked business class, the savings would have been even higher. If you're booking international flights without checking these affiliate portals, you are almost certainly overpaying. But hidden discounts are only part of the problem. Earlier, I mentioned the worry tax, and now it's time to explain how airlines know exactly when to charge it. The answer lies in tiny digital trackers called cookies. These trackers quietly record every time you search the same route, every pause, every return visit. The system learns that you want this flight, and it uses that knowledge against you. To beat that system, you have to disappear from the system entirely. To the airline's algorithm, you must become what I call a digital ghost. You may have heard this advice casually before, but most people don't use it correctly or consistently, which makes it useless. Every time you search for a flight in a normal browser window, your history follows you. The airline sees you coming back again and again, and it assumes you're emotionally invested. That's when prices quietly rise, not because demand changed, but because you revealed your intent. Here is how you disappear. Before you search for anything, open a private browsing window. If you're using a PC, press Ctrl, Shift, and N at the same time, or Ctrl, Shift, and P depending on your browser. If you're on a Mac, press Command, Shift, and N. A new window will open, usually dark gray or black, and it will tell you that you're browsing privately or in incognito mode. This window does not share your search history, cookies, or previous behavior. To the airline, you are a brand new visitor who just arrived. In that state, they are forced to show you the base price, not the inflated panic price designed for hesitant buyers. I once spoke with a young couple sitting near the galley on their honeymoon. They were frustrated because their tickets had cost $1,200 each. They told me they had watched the price climb $50 every day for nearly a week. When I asked how they were checking, they said they kept refreshing the same flight on the same iPad. They didn't clear anything. They didn't use private browsing. They were negotiating against themselves without realizing it. The flight wasn't filling up. The algorithm was simply responding to their repeated interest. Had they opened an incognito window on the 4th day, the price likely would have dropped back closer to the original number. Instead, they overpaid by $400 as a couple. If technology feels intimidating, there's an even simpler option. Use a computer the airline has never seen before. Your local public library is perfect for this. Log onto one of their computers and search for the same flight. Because that device has no connection to your personal history, the pricing system treats it as neutral. I've seen seniors shocked when the library computer shows a lower fare than the one on their tablet at home. That difference is the worry tax made visible. Now let's talk about fear, because fear is where airlines make their biggest profits from senior travelers. Many of you worry about health. You think, what if I get sick? What if my husband has a medical issue? I can't risk a non-refundable ticket. So you choose the fully refundable option, which often costs double. I want you to know that in many cases, this is unnecessary. Almost every major airline has internal medical policies that allow refunds on non-refundable tickets if a true medical emergency occurs. They don't advertise this, and most agents won't volunteer the information, but the policy exists. The key is language. Delta, for example, has a policy related to serious communicable disease and medical unfitness to travel. United Airlines has a dedicated medical review desk that can be reached through a specific email address most customers never hear about. If you cancel online or click cancel in the app, the system automatically issues a voucher and locks you out of a cash refund. That's why you must never cancel digitally if health is involved. You need to call and ask to speak to the refunds department regarding a medical inability to travel. I remember a passenger named Robert, 72 years old, who developed a severe inner ear infection 2 days before his flight. His doctor warned him that flying could rupture his eardrum. When Robert first called the airline, the agent offered him a voucher. He didn't want a voucher because he didn't know when he'd be able to fly again. I told him exactly what to do. He got a letter from his doctor on official letterhead stating that he was medically unfit to fly due to risk of permanent injury. He submitted it to the airline's medical desk. The result was a full refund back to his credit card. This loophole exists so airlines aren't forced to carry passengers who are genuinely unsafe to fly, but it also protects you. Knowing it allows you to buy cheaper fares without fear, because you have a legitimate escape route if life intervenes. And once you understand that, you stop paying for unnecessary protection and start keeping your money where it belongs, in your own pocket. Now let's talk about one of the most stressful moments in travel, because this is where panic causes people to make expensive mistakes. A storm hits Chicago, a computer system crashes in Atlanta, your connection is canceled, and suddenly you need to change your flight immediately. You call the airline's customer service number, put the phone on speaker, and wait, and wait. You listen to that looping music for 2, sometimes 3 hours, while your battery drains and your blood pressure rises. The callback option promises relief, but often never rings. During this time, seats disappear and prices climb while you're stuck in limbo. Here's the truth most travelers don't know. You're calling the wrong number. Airlines do not treat all calls equally. They triage them. The main 1-800 customer service line is the general population queue. It is understaffed, overloaded, and designed to handle volume, not urgency. But behind the scenes, airlines operate separate phone lines staffed by senior, experienced agents who answer much faster. These lines are officially meant for passengers who need extra assistance, but many senior travelers qualify without realizing it. If you're over 65, ask yourself honestly, do your knees ache after sitting for hours? Do you need extra time to board? Is your hearing not as sharp as it once was? Do you walk with a cane or feel unsteady in long lines? If the answer to any of these is yes, you are entitled to use the special assistance line. This is not cheating. It is exactly what the system is there for. I remember a woman named Mrs. Gable in Miami during a hurricane delay. She was leaning heavily on her cane, crying at the gate because the rebooking line stretched across the terminal. The phone wait time was over 3 hours. I took out my phone, called the airline's special assistance number, and handed it to her. An agent picked up in 4 minutes. Mrs. Gable explained calmly that she had mobility issues and couldn't stand in line. The agent rebooked her immediately, while hundreds of younger, perfectly healthy passengers waited on hold. She was confirmed on the next available flight. There's another shortcut most people never use because it feels counterintuitive. When the automated system asks for language selection, there is often an option for Spanish. Fewer people press that button, which means the queue is usually much shorter. Most agents staffing that line are fully bilingual and speak excellent English. When they answer, you simply apologize for pressing the wrong option and ask if they can help you in English. In nearly every case, they will. They rarely transfer you back to the main queue. This is not about deception. It's about accessing an underused resource. The key is preparation. Do not wait until you're stranded to search for these numbers. Save them in your phone today under names like Airline VIP or Emergency Travel Help. Use them respectfully, but use them confidently. You have earned the right not to waste hours of your life listening to hold music while your travel plans fall apart. Now we need to talk about something that quietly drains money from seniors every single day, often without them realizing it. You're at the checkout screen. Your flight is selected. A pop-up appears offering trip protection for $49. It's labeled recommended. You think about your age, your blood pressure, your prescriptions, and you click yes. That money is almost always wasted. This brings us to one of the biggest traps in modern travel, the pre-existing condition loophole. The insurance sold directly by airlines almost always includes a look-back period, usually between 60 and 180 days. If you file a claim, the insurance company reviews your medical history during that window. Any doctor visit, medication change, or symptom related to your condition can be used to deny the claim. A dosage adjustment counts as instability. A routine checkup where you mention dizziness counts as treatment. Claim denied. I once saw a man named Mr. Clark lose $2,000 this way. He bought airline insurance for peace of mind. A week before his trip, he experienced mild angina. His doctor grounded him. The insurance company denied the claim because he had seen his cardiologist for a routine visit 59 days earlier. To them, his condition was already under treatment. If you want real protection, you must buy third-party insurance, not the airline's add-on. And timing matters. Many independent policies offer a waiver for pre-existing conditions if you buy within 14 to 21 days of your first trip deposit. Within that window, even chronic conditions are covered as long as you're fit to travel when you buy the policy. That is the only insurance worth paying for, and knowing that difference keeps you from throwing money away while thinking you're being careful. Knowing how to protect yourself without overpaying changes the way you book. But there's another legal tool that most people never use because they're afraid to look at prices after they've already purchased a ticket. I want you to do the opposite. This is where patience can turn into real money. U.S. Department of Transportation rules require airlines to allow a full cash refund if you cancel a ticket within 24 hours of booking, as long as the flight is at least 7 days away. This rule applies even to non-refundable tickets, and it gives you a short window to play the pricing game legally. Airlines often adjust fares overnight. Inventory shifts, algorithms rebalance, and flash sales appear quietly while most people are asleep. If you book a flight on Tuesday afternoon for $500, set a reminder to check the price again the next morning. If you see that the same flight has dropped to $350, you haven't lost anything yet. You can book the cheaper ticket immediately, secure the new confirmation, and then cancel the original reservation within the 24-hour window. The first ticket is fully refunded, and the lower price becomes yours. I once watched a grandfather named Bob do this for his entire family. He booked 4 tickets to Florida for $400 each, totaling $1,600. The next morning, the fare dropped to $250. Instead of feeling defeated, he acted quickly. He booked 4 new tickets at the lower price, then canceled the original reservation. He saved $600 in less than 10 minutes. That covered their rental car for the week. The only caution here is cash flow. Refunds take a few days to process, so you need enough available credit to temporarily hold both charges. Never attempt this with a debit card. Now let's talk about one of the most emotionally painful situations travelers face. A loved one passes away or enters hospice, and you need to fly immediately. You may have heard of bereavement fares and assume they are compassionate discounts. In reality, they are often the opposite. Many airlines have eliminated them entirely. Those that still offer them usually calculate the discount from the most expensive, fully refundable economy fare on the plane. Even with a small percentage off, you often end up paying more than a standard last-minute ticket. I remember a man flying to his brother's funeral who paid $900 after spending hours on the phone with the compassion desk, faxing documents and proving his relationship. The same flight was selling for $450 on the airline app. The bereavement fare wasn't cheaper, it was just flexible. If you're traveling for a funeral, always check the regular last-minute price first. If it's reasonable, book it. If prices are extreme, ask about flexible waivers, not bereavement fares. Using miles in these situations often gives the best value, since award pricing doesn't spike the same way cash fares do. Understanding this prevents grief from becoming another financial penalty. Once you understand how pricing really works, the final step is learning how to hide discounts from the airlines themselves, because airlines fear one thing more than anything else: visible price wars. If one carrier publicly drops a fare, competitors are forced to match it, and profits disappear quickly. To avoid this, airlines quietly bury their deepest discounts inside something called opaque bundles. These are vacation packages where the flight price is hidden inside a total cost that includes a hotel or rental car. Because the airfare isn't displayed separately, airlines feel safe offering much lower rates. This is where smart travelers win. Even if you're staying with family and don't need a hotel, it's often cheaper to book a flight bundled with a one-night stay at a budget motel than to buy the flight alone. You don't even have to use the hotel. I've seen couples book a round-trip flight plus a cheap hotel for less than the cost of airfare by itself. The airline gets to move seats quietly, and you get the savings. Another method that works year-round, even during holidays, is gift card arbitrage, Warehouse stores like Costco and Sam's Club frequently sell airline gift cards at a discount. A $500 airline gift card might sell for $449. That's an instant 10% savings on any flight. No searching, no algorithms. Grocery stores sometimes offer fuel points promotions on gift cards, which can turn into $30 or $40 in free gas just for buying your airfare differently. The key is buying larger cards and keeping them safe. If you cancel a flight, the refund goes back to the gift card, not your credit card. Never throw them away until your trip is complete. We've covered a lot together, from breaking the silver ceiling to escaping the worry tax, from medical refund loopholes to hidden phone lines and pricing windows. I know it feels overwhelming, but here's the truth. You shouldn't have to fight this hard to book a fare ticket. Until the industry changes, knowledge is your protection. You worked for decades, you saved carefully, you earned every mile you travel. I want you to test just one of these strategies this week. Open a regular browser window and check a flight. Then open a private window and check the same flight again. See if the number changes. Share what you find. The more we compare notes, the harder it becomes for algorithms to quietly take advantage of us. You deserve to sit by the window, watch the clouds drift by, and know you paid the lowest possible price. You deserve to visit family, see new places, and travel without fear that caution is costing you money. Airlines have data, computers, and complex systems. But now, you have something they don't expect. You have the playbook. You know how to book smart, protect yourself, and keep your savings intact.